You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Steven, Tigers, Rebels. Give me a sense of how you think this one plays out Saturday. Storylines, pick if you want to do it, all that stuff.
I think that Ole Miss, they're going to this game fairly confident right now because, heck, you want to take LSU to Trinidad, that type of deal. So we're pretty excited about what the program looks like. I want to see the game that's in my head a year ago, and Brian Kelly is the one that brought this to my attention of all people. He mentioned that preparing for two quarterbacks is not a big deal. They did the same thing a year ago against Texas A&M. And then you looked at the box score of that game, and it was explosive runs and not handling a running quarterback. And in the second half, they absolutely
just to clarify, the point he made, and that was this Monday at his press conference, was that this was different than that one because those quarterbacks were different. Because it was a Connor Wegman who was pro style, and LSU was handling Wegman. They went to Marcel Reed, and they did not have a plan for Marcel Reed. The point he was making was with Simmons and Chambliss, you're talking about two guys that stylistically can do some of the same things. So it's not like you'd have a complete 180 switch.
Okay. Well, that put that game in my head. So they're running quarterback. At that point, I thought that Trinidad Chambliss should be the starting quarterback for this game, especially after what Jalen Milroe did a year ago, the kryptonite that we talked about a running quarterback. I think the path to victory is Ole Miss needs to play clean. They cannot give short fields to LSU under any circumstances. Going for it the whole 9 yards. Do not give LSU a short field. And if you're able to put that together and handle that, I think you win the game like 24-17. I think that's where I'm living. Ole Miss 24, LSU 17.
Yeah, I know this is probably going to surprise your audience, but a year ago I picked Ole Miss to win the game in Baton Rouge. And I've had a really good sense. I pissed off a lot of Ole Miss fans in 22 when I on Monday told you that LSU was going to beat Ole Miss. That was when Ole Miss was undefeated. I've had a good finger on the pulse of this game. You keep bringing up the running quarterback, and I understand it. What you're neglecting to acknowledge or maybe college football hasn't seen yet, this LSU defense might be the best defense in the country. In the same way that Ole Miss last year with Walter Nolan and Princely Umanmiele and Chris Paul and Trey Amos and all those dudes, this is not last year. This is nothing resembling that. They have dudes at every level. You got Harold Perkins back healthy. Whit Weeks is an All-American. You've got a rotation at defensive end of studs that put pressure on the passer. You have an interior pass rush with Bernard Gooden. You're deep at tackle. They'll rotate 6 or 7 defensive tackles if they want to. Monsoor Delane is a lockdown corner. God bless. Y'all are playing Sage Ryan over there. Last year was the worst safety play I've ever seen in my life at LSU, and Sage Ryan was a part of it. They went and got an all-conference guy in A.J. Halsey. This is going to be a game where LSU's defense controls it because it can. It's going to be like Big Brother putting his hand on little brother's head and just keeping you at arm distance as he starts to swipe and just never gets close enough to clip. I think it's a close game, but I would take that score probably just invert it. I think it's probably like a 27-17, 24-17 LSU win Saturday in Oxford. But nobody's going to be surprised that you and I disagree on that.
Yeah.
We will give throughout the course of the remainder of this week as we get closer to LSU and Ole Miss. On Friday, or our final episode, do a full preview and full prediction final with after all the coaches meet with reporters on how this is all going to end up playing out with LSU and Ole Miss as we lead into game day. And then, of course, as soon as the game goes final, I'll be on Locked on LSU, giving you post-game comments and thoughts. Stephen, I'm sure you'll be doing the same for Locked on Ole Miss as well.
Yes, we will absolutely be talking about it.
Yeah, so as soon as the game ends, make sure you catch that post-game commentary as well with the Tigers and the Rebels. And this is a game, as we mentioned, that is going to be played now in perpetuity, not going away. One of the protected annual rivalry games by the Southeastern Conference. And the Tigers will actually be in Oxford 2 consecutive years. So LSU will make this trip in back-to-back seasons for LSU and Ole Miss. But, of course, Saturday is a big one with giant playoff implications. Hey, it's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. All right, we're going to wrap up this episode here, this crossover episode of Locked On LSU and Locked On Ole Miss. Hey, do us a favor. If you're listening on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Rate us, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And please be sure to let a friend know that if they love the Tigers or the Rebels, subscribe and that we're here every single day for Locked On LSU and Locked On Ole Miss.